Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered if they hold a secret? What if I told you that a nearly 500-year-old image, one of the most revered relics in the Christian world, contains a celestial map pointing to a specific date in our near future? This isn't a sci-fi movie plot. This is the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe and the hidden prophecy in the stars. In the year 1531, on a hill called Tepeyac near modern-day Mexico City, a humble indigenous man named Juan Diego experienced a series of apparitions. A radiant woman, identifying herself as the Virgin Mary, appeared to him and asked for a church to be built in her honor. To prove the vision's authenticity to the skeptical bishop, she instructed Juan Diego to gather roses from the barren frozen hilltop. When he opened his tilma, a simple cloak made of cactus fibers, before the bishop, the roses cascaded out, revealing a miraculous image of the woman imprinted on the fabric. This image is what we now know as Our Lady of Guadalupe. For centuries, this tilma has been a source of wonder and devotion. It has survived a bomb blast and the ravages of time, despite being on material that should have disintegrated within decades. But beyond the miracles attributed to it, the image itself is a codex, a visual message filled with symbolism that spoke directly to the Aztec people of the time. The sun's rays behind her, the moon at her feet, the sash indicating pregnancy, all these symbols were understood by the indigenous population and helped bridge the gap between their culture and the new Christian faith. But there's one layer of this celestial message that has only recently come to light, thanks to modern astronomy. In 1981, a group of scientists from Mexico and the US began a detailed analysis of the stars depicted on Mary's mantle. They made a breathtaking discovery. The pattern of the stars wasn't random, it was an exact top-down map of the constellations as they appeared in the sky over Mexico City on the date of the main apparition, December 12, 1531. Think about that for a second. The image on the tilma is a precise star chart from that very day. This discovery was astounding, but it was just the beginning. The real mystery began when people started to ask, why? Why go to the trouble of encoding a star map onto the mantle? What was it pointing to? The image itself provided clues. The woman is depicted as pregnant, as shown by the high-waisted black sash, a symbol of pregnancy in Aztec culture. The four-petaled jasmine flower, the Nahui Olan, over her womb was the Aztec symbol for the center of the universe. The divine? This was a clear message. She was carrying someone of immense divine importance. And then, there's the date of the apparition itself, December 12th. This date falls near the winter solstice, a time of immense astronomical and cultural significance across the ancient world. It's the shortest day of the year, the day darkness reaches its peak before the light begins to return. For many cultures, it symbolizes the death and rebirth of the sun, a promise of new life and hope. The apparition occurring at this time, with its celestial theme, feels intentional, doesn't it? So we have a celestial map from a specific date, pointing to a divine birth, all tied to the winter solstice. The next logical question researchers asked was, does this celestial map point to anything else? They ran the star positions through astronomical software, moving forward and backward in time, looking for another significant alignment, and they found one, a spectacular one. On December 12, 2026, something truly remarkable is set to happen in the heavens. For the first time in centuries, the winter solstice will align perfectly with the constellation Virgo. On this day, from the perspective of someone on Earth, the sun will appear to be birthed from the constellation Virgo, right at her womb. This event is incredibly rare. The precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of Earth's axis, means that the solstice point moves through the constellations over a cycle of roughly 26,000 years. For it to align so precisely with Virgo is a major astronomical event. But the connection to the Guadalupe image makes it even more profound. The woman on the tilma is widely interpreted as the woman of the Apocalypse from the Book of Revelation, chapter 12, described as a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. The Guadalupe image fits this description almost perfectly. The woman is clothed in the sun's rays, stands on the crescent moon, and the stars on her mantle represent her celestial crown. The prophecy in Revelation 12 continues, describing this woman as being with child, and she cried out in her pangs of birth, in anguish for delivery. It speaks of a great sign in heaven. Could the astronomical event of 2026, the sun being birthed from Virgo on the winter solstice, be the great sign the prophecy mentions? And could the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, with its own star map and pregnant depiction, be a 500-year-old prophecy pointing directly to this event? Let's break down the connections, because this is where it gets truly mind-blowing. First, the name Guadalupe itself is a bit of a mystery. Some scholars believe it's a Spanish version of an Aztec phrase Cotolaxupu, which sounds similar and means the one who crushes the serpent. This links back to both the Aztec feathered serpent god, Quetzalcoatl, and the serpent in the book of Genesis, which Mary, in Christian tradition, is said to crush. Second, the timing. The apparition happened in 1531. The prophecy seems to point to 2026. This year, 2026, marks the 495th anniversary of the apparition. While that might not seem significant at first, in some numerological and symbolic traditions, numbers matter. More importantly, it brings us close to the 500-year anniversary in 2031, a major jubilee. Could 2026 be the beginning of a new era foretold 5 centuries ago? Third, the astronomical precision. It's not just a general alignment. The specific placement of the sun within Virgo during the solstice is what makes this so unique. It's a visual representation of a birth, happening on the day that symbolizes the rebirth of light itself. To have this celestial event mirrored in a 500-year-old miraculous image that contains the star map from its own creation is a coincidence of astronomical proportions, quite literally. So, what does it all mean? Is this a prediction of the end of the world? Absolutely not. That's a common misunderstanding of apocalyptic literature. The word apocalypse comes from a Greek word meaning unveiling or revelation. It's about pulling back the curtain to reveal a deeper truth, not necessarily about destruction. Many who have studied this phenomenon believe it heralds not an end, but a new beginning, a spiritual renewal, an era of greater consciousness and unity. The image of Guadalupe itself was a powerful force for conversion and peace, uniting 2 vastly different cultures, the Spanish and the Aztec, under a banner of love and hope. Perhaps the fulfillment of its celestial prophecy is meant to be a similar call for unity and peace in our modern, often divided, world. It's a call to look up, to see the bigger picture. In an age where we are so often focused on our screens and our immediate problems, this 500-year-old message asks us to contemplate the cosmos and our place within it. It's a reminder that there might be a grander design at play, a story written in the stars that connects heaven and earth. Whether you see this as a divine prophecy, a remarkable series of coincidences, or simply a fascinating intersection of history, faith, and astronomy, the story is undeniably powerful. The Tilma of Juan Diego is not just a relic of the past. It's a living document, a celestial clock that may be counting down to a moment of profound significance. As we approach December 12, 2026, more and more people are turning their eyes to the sky and to this miraculous image from Mexico. They are asking questions, seeking meaning, and preparing their hearts. It isn't about fear or panic. It's about hope. It's about the promise of a new dawn, symbolized by the return of the light at the winter solstice, and the belief that a message of love encoded in the stars, and on a simple cactus fiber cloak still has the power to change the world. What do you think? Is this a celestial coincidence, or a divine appointment set in motion 500 years ago? The answer, perhaps, lies in looking up at the stars and listening with your heart. The universe is always speaking to us, sometimes in whispers, and sometimes in prophecies written across the heavens. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through history, astronomy, and faith. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe for more explorations into the world's greatest mysteries, and share this video with someone who loves a good cosmic puzzle. See you next time.